Greetings, everyone. Boy, we may be in a recession, although apparently I am told the recession in Canada is actually over. So if you're in the US, suckers! Just kidding. No hard feelings, I'm just joshing you. Whoever Josh is. Wait a minute. I know a Josh. Razman! How's it going, dude? There you go, I gave you a shout out. Embrace it. That was totally unplanned. I don't know where that came from, but hope you enjoyed it. Razman's Reality, check him out. He's awesome. What am I doing? I'm just like all over the place. Oh yeah! DVD updates, recession, sales, deals. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, okay, we may be in an economic slump right now, but it's a great time to be a DVD collector because there are so many deals to be had out there. Just recently, there was a big fire sale on a bunch of out-of-print titles, coincidentally ones I've been looking for, at the local Zellers. Zellers is basically a Canadian discount store chain. It's kind of like a Canadian Walmart type of store. It's a very similar type of store. It's not as big as Walmarts usually are. But, you know, very often there's, there's bargain bins and whatnot, and for DVDs, and Annetta and I have found a number of deals there in the past. So we always make a point of stopping in there whenever we're in the area and checking the bargain bins. Well, Annetta popped in there on a whim a couple weeks ago, and immediately got on the phone to me and said, "Sean, you won't believe what they have on sale here in the bargain bins. Tell me what you need, and I'll see what I can do about finding them and getting them for you." So what did she find? What did I get? Let's find out today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. I was just going to say, if I don't seem like my normal, eloquent, well-spoken self, I blame it on the heat. It is freaking hot today. If I wasn't doing a video right now, I'd be naked. So, but in deference to your sanity, I put on clothes for the duration, or for the purposes of this video. Okay, so big fire sale at Zellers. Now, as you know, there's a couple of specific collections that I've been working on over the past almost a year now, trying to get the complete collection of these sets before they disappear and start fetching collector's prices. As soon as I heard they went out of print, I was like, oh my god, okay, clearly I have to focus on those now and put all the other collections on hold and try to get these done before they're gone. And that's, of course, the FuniMation and other cartoons from BCI Eclipse, the folks who brought us He-Man and all that other good stuff, and the FuniMation Ninja Turtles cartoons. So, how did we do? Well, it turns out that Zellers had two bargain bins going, one of which was almost all BCI stuff, and the other was almost all FuniMation stuff. Wow. So Annetta asked me which ones I needed, and she grabbed a couple that she found, but she didn't really dig deep into the bins. So I just had this nagging feeling that maybe there was more there than what she found. So I said, sweetie, can you do a little bit of creative budgeting and find me some money so I can go and take advantage of this sale before all the good stuff is gone, and then I'll just pay you back out of my earnings from my online stuff. And she said, yeah, cool, no problem. So I got on the bus, ran to Zellers, and raided the bins. I went through them with a fine-tooth comb and grabbed everything that I could get my hands on that I needed for my collection. So, what did Annetta get me? Well, Annetta got a couple things I needed. She-Ra, Princess of Power, Season 1, Volume 1, and Season 2. When I went back, I found they also had Season 1, Volume 2. Now these originally retailed for about $60 a piece. You know how much they're going for in the Zellers sale? $10. Yeah. Now I was about to buy a bunch of these from Buy-Right, and Buy-Right is pretty cheap. But Zellers was cheaper. $10. No shipping. These were going at the time for about I don't know, 12 or $13 a piece plus shipping from Buy-Right. You know, which was a bargain for sure, but $10 with no shipping, that's even better. So yeah, so we got the entire series of She-Ra, Princess of Power. This is all, what, 92, 93 episodes, however many it was? Anyway, it's the entire series, so there you go. I have the complete saga of He-Man's cousin. Then, they did have some of the original He-Man. Like, for example, they did actually have Season 1, Volume 2, but I had already placed my order with Buy-Right, so there was no point in getting it. I'm kind of wishing I did, though, because it showed up a little bit crunched. It's unfortunate. Although, not as bad as my Volume 1. Oh, it looks fine, sort of. But take a look at the corners. If you watched my last video, I talked about Rosie's drool damage. Well, there you go. She was thorough, man. She got all 4 corners. So, yeah, I'm going to be replacing this at some point, hopefully. Fortunately, it's not one of the rare ones, and it's pretty widely available. So, we'll get that taken care of. But, so they didn't have Season 2, unfortunately. Believe me, I looked. But they did have both volumes of the New Adventures of He-Man. Now this is the 1990s, early 90s series, 65 episodes, 2 sets, also known as He-Man in Space. It's kind of, it takes place not on Eternia, but on another place, in another place called Primus, which is kind of this futuristic society. And basically, He-Man and Skeletor are flung through time to save Primus from this evil menace. Well, actually, you can see them on the cover here. These mutant guys who are making life miserable for them. And then He-Man shows up and teams up with these 2 guys that look like rejects from Centurions or Sky Commanders or something like that. Look really out of place for a He-Man cartoon, but yeah, I can kind of understand why fans weren't overly thrilled with the New Adventures of He-Man. Mainly because it's very different from all the other incarnations of He-Man, obviously. It's more sci-fi oriented than fantasy oriented. And really, there's not a lot of the original characters in it. You got Skeletor and He-Man, and that's pretty much it. And Skeletor has eyeballs. Can you see that? Skeletor has eyeballs. Since when did a skull have eyeballs? And he blinks. So he's a skull with eyeballs and eyelids. How can you have eyelids when you have no skin? Yeah, but anyway, so you really don't have a lot of the classic characters in it. You basically got He-Man, Skeletor, Teela shows up at some point, you see the Sorceress every once in a while, and you see King Randor and Queen What's-Her-Nuts. I'm sorry, I don't know his mother's name. You see them in like the first episode, and I'm guessing probably in the last episode too when he gets home, but yeah. But that said, all the fan, complaints about it, taken on its own, it's actually not a bad show. I've been watching this on and off over the past week, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I gotta say, I'd never seen it before. I didn't even know it existed until the DVDs came out. I just thought there was the old He-Man from the 80s and then the new one from 2002. I had no idea there was one in the middle. But I'm actually really enjoying it. It's actually surprisingly well written. It's obviously not up to the standard of the 2002 series, but it's still a lot of fun. And in particular, I'm really enjoying, as much as I'm not a big fan of the character design, I'm really enjoying the characterization of Skeletor. I mean, he's just a bastard in this, and he has some great one-liners in there, genuinely funny dialogue, and they made him a really interesting character. Anyway, I might talk a little bit more about this at some point. I might not. I don't know. But the reason I spend so much time mentioning it is because this kind of gets short shrift from the fans. I just wanted to come on here and say, as someone who's discovering it for the first time, it's actually a pretty good show. Just don't look at it in the context of being, you know, overly related to the others. It's call it a very loose sequel, but taken as its own kind of beast, it's a fun show. So what else do we get? So Annetta actually picked up something which is pretty cool. The Pink Panther Classic Cartoon Collection. Now this is a collection that came out a few years ago. You may recall in my DVD updates we have the Pink Panther movie collection. This came out around the same time. It's the same type of packaging. It's this soft sort of vinyl packaging. It's quite nice. So this is pretty nice. It's 5 discs. It has 124 cartoons and buttloads of extras, including all the animated intros from the original movies. Minus, of course, Return of the Pink Panther, which was by a different studio. This is the majority of the Pink Panther movies are put out by MGM. There's been a couple over the years that were put out by other studios, but or maybe just one, and maybe just that one actually. And then MGM made sure they locked down the license. But anyway, so this cartoon collection came out, and it's great. I forgot just how hilarious these cartoons are, and they still hold up phenomenally well today. It's like the old Warner Brothers cartoons, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and the Pink Panther. I mean, those I think, well, and the original Tom and Jerry from the 30s and 40s. I think those are all stuff that still holds up really well today. Now, there is a new collection of Pink Panther that came out recently that has all of the movies, right from the first one all the way up to the first Steve Martin one, and it has 9 discs of the cartoons. 9. So almost double the number of cartoons that are in this set. I didn't even know there was that many classic cartoons. But, yeah. But anyway, Annetta picked this up for 20 bucks. And it originally retailed for, I think, around 70, if I remember correctly, 60 or 70. It was prohibitively expensive, basically, and we wanted it, but just never picked it up. So, you know, even though it's not the 9-disc collection that's out now, it was 20 bucks. So who cares? It's more Pink Panther cartoons than we had before. So there we go. Then finally, in the Funimation bin, I found one from Lionsgate and one from Funimation. Now, first off, the Lionsgate one, I've always been a big Ren and Stimpy fan. And when this show came on, I loved it. The Ripping Friends! Which is basically the creator of Ren and Stimpy, John Kricfalusi, and his take on superheroes. So it's the adventures of these 4 big, beefy, meat-headed guys and the crazy-ass villains that they encounter. It's absolutely hilarious and insane and stupid and funny as hell. My only complaint is this is the only DVD they've ever released of it. It's the first 4 episodes, so at least it's the first 4 consecutive episodes, because there is actually a bit of a continuity to the series. And they only made 13, so they could have put it all out in one set, or 3 volumes like this, or something, but they only ever did this 1 volume. So anyway, got that for $3, can't complain about that. And then finally, the Funimation one that I found, I was so happy. Ninja Turtles, Season 2, Part 2. So I now have almost all of the season sets that they put out. I'm not going to bother with the Season 4 collection that I talked about in the TMNT disambiguation video, simply because it's just the leftover Season 4 episodes that they didn't include in the completely out-of-sequence volumes before that. And it's not fully the complete second half. It's sort of, yeah, anyway, it's a mess. I'm not going to bother with the Season 4, so I'm going to wait until there's a proper release of Season 4. But anyway, so now I have Season 1, 2, and 6 in its entirety. I looked for Ninja Tribunal, but they didn't have it. I was very disappointed, because that's like the one I need now to complete my sort of complete seasons collection. But yeah, so anyway, at least I got the first 2 seasons, and that's like a solid 52 consecutive episodes between the 4 volumes. So that's not too shabby. And then finally, of all places, in one of the local drugstores, they had this tiny, dinky little DVD rack of discount DVD titles, and I saw this one, and I just could not pass it up. I used to watch this show all the time growing up, and it was just hilarious. I actually like this better than some of the other sketch comedy shows that were on at the time, like Saturday Night Live and whatnot. I am, of course, talking about SCTV. This is the best of the early years. It's a Shout Factory collection. It's got 15 episodes from the first 3 or 4 seasons, I think. Something like that. First 4 seasons? First 4 seasons, yeah. The first 3 seasons. Yeah, it's got 15 episodes from the first 3 seasons, or specifically seasons 2 and 3 of SCTV. Now, after the first 3 seasons, 3 or 4 seasons, they actually went to American TV, and yeah, a lot of the early episodes were repackaged in a 90-minute format, so like 3 or 4 episodes per 90-minute episode. And Shout Factory actually does have the complete collection of what they call the Network 90. So they have the all of those. And they said that basically one of the reasons they haven't put out more of these is A, because it's a nightmare to license because of some of the music used and such, but also because a lot of the sketches that are in the earlier episodes are actually in the Network 90 version, so it would just be kind of duplicating the same material over and over again. So anyway, Annetta had never seen SCTV before. We watched the first disc all in one night, and she's completely hooked. We're having a great time. It's such a funny show, and I've always loved it. And I forgot just how funny it is, too, actually. Oh, how much did I get it for? How much did I get this for, do you think? $7.99. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I'm not sure what this goes for usually. I think about 40 bucks, if I remember correctly. So 30 or 40 bucks. So anyway, yeah, needless to say, we've been really enjoying this, and we're going to track down the Network 90 set very soon. So one last thing I wanted to show you. Let's see if we can get this lined up properly here. Let me just go mobile here and we'll take a look. One of the cool things about the He-Man and She-Ra sets is if you line them up, and I have this misaligned, there we go. If you line them up, it actually forms a mural across all 9 volumes. Now, of course, I only have 7 of the 9 volumes, so only this part of the mural is actually complete. But you can see so if we sort of move this over, you can sort of see more or less how it'll fit together. So you get Grayskull here, and then there's Season 2 of the original He-Man, then there's New Adventures, and then there's She-Ra. So it forms this huge mural spanning all 9 volumes of the complete 80s and 90s He-Man and She-Ra saga. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. So needless to say, I'm going to be scouring the net to find the best possible deal I can on Season 2, and then yeah, but I mean, that said, given the amount of money I've saved on the rest of the BCI collection, you know, if I end up paying a bit of a premium on the 3 remaining volumes that I need, I'm not going to feel too bad about it. What's the third one? Brave Star Volume 2, if you didn't catch that in the previous video. And all the other Filmation stuff, still got a few more coming in the mail, so we'll take a look at those as they come in. Well, that was an epic update. The heat is just melting my brain. Alrighty, that's it from me to you for now. So thanks for watching, and sayonara.